Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Side Projects. In this one, an original idea. Not really. This has been overdone on YouTube, but I did want to add my own side projects twist to it. It's all about the fanciest buildings in the world. Where do rich people live? It's going to be fun. Let's jump in. If there's one steadfast rule which the past 200 years or so of history have revealed to us, it's this. The rich get richer, and richer and richer. The wealthiest man in the 1820s was the banker Stephen Girard, whose net worth today would be only $180 million. Fast forward to the present day, and we have over 2,200 billionaires worldwide, with the first trillionaire well on his way, Mr. Bezos.
It was fine being the second wealthiest person in the world.
Scientists estimate that Karl Marx is currently spinning in his grave at a rate of about 100 to 120 revolutions per minute and rising. As the piles of money grow taller, the homes become much, much wilder, with owners seemingly competing to make the stately homes of the past look more and more like run-down trailer parks. While the bulk of us have to just cross our fingers and hope that our real estate agent isn't hiding a termite infestation or a damp problem, billionaires could instead look forward to bowling alleys, ballrooms, and even private health clinics. After the first billion, you enter a new world entirely separate from the rest of humanity. So let's try and contain our jealousy as we dive headfirst into that world and look at the 5 most expensive and most outrageous billionaire abodes. Although the idea of Bill Gates as the world's richest man now seems rather quaint, the man's multi-billion-dollar fortune remains absolutely vast nonetheless. His sprawling home base on the shores of Lake Washington is a testament to that fact. Worth somewhere between $120 and $150 million, the house covers over 66,000 square feet, with 2,500 of that dedicated to the gym alone. So why isn't Bill Gates absolutely mad ripped? Oh yeah, because you still have to go to the gym. The project took 7 years to complete and was helmed by the design firms Cutler Anderson Architects and Bolin Sawinski Jackson. The name of the house references the home of the titular tycoon from the film Citizen Kane, with the version number of this new iteration tagged onto the end because what do you expect from the king of 20th century nerds? When he's not trying to eradicate preventable diseases in the developing world, or depending on how much tinfoil your hat is wearing, launching nefarious plans to inject every US citizen with mind-controlling microchips. Oh, the conspiracy theories about Gates are crazy. Please stop. But people are going to smash the dislike button on this video anyway right now. Gates can be found enjoying his pool with underwater music system, display panels in the walls connected to a vast digital library of artworks, and an intelligent lighting system which adjusts the ambience as you walk through the house. Despite all of that, Xanadu 2.0 doesn't look particularly ostentatious from the outside. That's in part because it's designed to be a so-called earth-sheltered house integrated with the natural surroundings to conserve energy. However, the environmental credentials of this crib are somewhat dubious overall, especially seeing as the private beachfront is covered with sand imported from the Caribbean. We're hopping over the pond now to sunny old London. Not really. And if you've ever had to fork out for London rent prices, you probably won't be surprised to learn that the world's most expensive apartment is found here. I have had to pay expensive London rent prices in the past, and it's absolutely brutal. But unlike your average cramped studio in Croydon, this place offers a little more bang for your buck. It's located in the most prestigious building in town, One Hyde Park, a secretive microcosm lorded over by foreign investors and billionaire city tycoons. It was built by real estate developers, the Candy brothers, in cooperation with the former Prime Minister of Qatar, so you can imagine the sort of money floating around. And that amount of money would be £1.1 billion, to be precise. Since its completion, the development has been the place to live in London if your bank balance is in the 9 or 10 figures. In 2010, the Ukrainian billionaire Rinat Akhmetov forked out over $216 million for his slice of the elite property pie, a penthouse which was at the time the most expensive property ever sold in the United Kingdom. So what does $216 million buy you in London? Well, bulletproof glass windows for one. Ex-Soviet oligarchs got a bit of a higher risk of assassination than regular folk. Also, that's why the building has SAS-trained soldiers as security and panic rooms in case the riff-raff storm the gates. Aside from that, it's got all the usual luxury trappings, a swimming pool, nice balcony views, a gym, library, cinema, stuff like that. Also, Kylie Minogue might be your neighbor. But despite seemingly being in such good company, there's a good chance that you might be feeling a little lonely if you land an apartment in this building. That's because about 3/4 of the residencies are actually owned by corporations as investments, so it's unclear if anybody actually lives in them at all. There's surely a poignant point to be made here about gentrification and wealth distribution, but I'll leave that up to the comments section. You guys and the Bill Gates conspiracy people can hang out. Now for something a little bit different. No contemporary rich list is complete without a nod to the East, and the newest superpower on the world stage is China. While the everyday people of the country have enjoyed its newfound wealth trickling down through society in dribs and drabs, the country's upper class are bathing in ever bigger pools of luxury. Although it is technically a little easier to become a billionaire in Chinese yuan, their currency trades around 7 to the dollar, the price tag of its most expensive buildings is still gonna blow you away. The most expensive one? $154 million. You'll find it perched on its very own private island in China's biggest lake, where you might mistake it for a historic tourist attraction. That's because it's designed in the style of an old Chinese castle compound. The building was completed by the Xiangshan Bang Traditional Architectural and Building Skills Company according to authentic historic techniques. Think classic Qing Dynasty style, sloped roofs, white plaster walls encasing beautifully manicured gardens. Gardens which are arranged according to Feng Shui principles, with arched bridges, misty cobalt blue pools filled with pricey koi carp, and even the island's own waterfall integrated into the design. Inside the 72,400 square foot house itself, there are 32 bedrooms and 32 bathrooms, which is exactly 10 times more than any house really needs. But again, different rules apply. And speaking of breaking the normal rules, there's also an absolutely massive wine cellar beneath the building. So if you've been browsing all of the elite housing websites in Europe and North America and feel a bit underwhelmed by the same old mansions, infinity pools, banquet halls, blah blah blah, well, why not spend your spare $150 million on this utopian island paradise in China instead? We've seen a lakeside mansion, a glass and steel high-rise, and a Qing Dynasty replica. Now for a touch of European old-money prestige. The Villa Leopolda is located in Villefranche-sur-Mer, near the city of Nice in France. The expansive country house was built by King Leopold II of Belgium, and its opulence proves that being a fully-fledged colonial supervillain did pay well. When not busy looting the collar and being an absolute dick, old Leo could be found kicking back at this 20-acre Riviera retreat with the mistress that he housed here. A few decades after his death, the original 1902 build was modified by architect Ogden Codman, who unified the dozen or so structures into one huge mega villa looking out over the sea from a forested hillside. A few decades more and it became a favorite film location in the mid-20th century, with Hitchcock and others setting up their tripods on the grounds, and honestly it's easy to see why. In its current state, the villa features 19 master bedrooms, 14 bathrooms, a large greenhouse, 12 pools, 8 hectares of gardens, and large open terraces. On top of that, the interior is a picture of antique decadence, with the fixtures and furnishings in any one room worth more than many people will make in an entire lifetime. The current owner is a woman named Lily Safra, whose husband purchased it in the 1980s for the euro equivalent of $750 million. She attempted to sell it to the Russian billionaire Mikhail Prokhorov in 2008, but he pulled out following the financial crisis and lost a deposit of 39 million euros, by the way. We're finishing with the biggest, maddest, and boldest billionaire building project of them all. One man's personal Tower of Babylon, which stretches up high into the smoggy sky of Mumbai. Continuing the billionaire tradition of naming your home after a mythological utopia, this one references a fabled island in the Atlantic said to have silver in its sands. Rather than silver, the owner and mastermind of this project, Mukseh Ambani, made his fortune in petrochemicals, retail, and telecoms. Today, that fortune stands at just shy of $37 billion, although it used to be a lot higher. With that kind of money, you can afford to drop over $1 billion on your own personal construction project and claim the world record for most expensive home. In fact, no other home on Earth even comes close in terms of construction costs and market value. US-based firm Perkins & Will took on the project, presumably making enough for each employee to buy a mega mansion of their own in the process. To cover every feature, which they included in the 27 stories and and 400,000 square feet of the complex would take an entire separate video in itself. But let's have a quick rundown, shall we? There's the ballroom, the 168-space garage split over 3 basement levels, an on-site temple, a whole hospital and well-being floor, a cinema, and no less than 4 helipads, apparently for reasons. Indeed, it's thought that it takes over 600 members of staff to just keep everything running. So it's pretty clear that while the Americans might have been super rich for longer, Indian billionaires are the ones who really know how to do it in style. So that concludes our whistle-stop tour of some of the most decadent and most expensive, and let's face it, most downright impressive homes out there. Depending on your political leanings, you might now be feeling motivated to go start your own multi-billion-dollar business empire, or maybe you want to grab your megaphone and pound the pavements in protest, whether you're a budding tycoon or a revolutionary in the making. Thank you for joining us today on Side Projects, and you know what to do. Smash that like button, unless you're one of those Bill Gates conspiracy people, in which case smash the dislike button. It's okay. You're crazy. Subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.